Right, let's get started. Okay, so 5 tips for songwriting on the piano. Tip 1. And some of these I know are going to be surprising because sometimes I think of things that are a little bit random. But that's your warning. Tip 1 is to forget about being original. Okay, I'm going to actually type that in here because I think that is so important. Let me just. This is totally on the fly, you guys, because I didn't have time to do slides. Here we go. Wait. There it is. Okay. Tip 1 is forget about being original. Now, when I studied at university for my music degree, I was taught from the get-go that everything that there is to do that's completely original has probably already been done. You know, there's a saying, there's nothing new under the sun, right? And we do get excited when someone does a twist on something we've heard before, or maybe take something that we expect certain things about it because it's in a particular genre or it's about a particular topic for a song, and then they completely twist it around, or plot twist, or do something different, a different angle or a different way of looking at things. Then we get excited about that. But the point is that nothing much is very original, and to be able to originate completely new ideas in any art, but specifically in music, you really have to be a bit of a master. And that's, I'm not trying to intimidate you for songwriting, but I'm just saying that it's good to have this idea that being original is not the goal, because it's so flippin' hard. And if what you're trying to do is be completely original and write something that no one has heard before, you will never write a song. Okay? So that's the cold, harsh truth. But what we need to do is to give ourselves a bit of a break. You're not going to write anything that's going to completely blow everyone's socks off, that's going to be a genre no one's ever heard before, or a melody no one's ever heard before. So once you take away that weight, then you're free to just go with something, hey, that sounds a little bit like something else, but it doesn't really matter. What I was saying before about how we were taught that nothing new is under the sun when I was at university, the specific saying that we would get taught would be to imitate before we innovate. So everyone has to go through this, whether you are a musician, an artist, or any sort of creative pursuit where you are aiming to innovate, you must first imitate. So what that means is possibly writing a song that is similar to another song that you like. Maybe using another song or an artist that you like as direct inspiration, and we can get really scared about copyrights and plagiarism and all that sort of thing. That's a whole thing in itself, and we must be aware of that. But when you're just writing songs yourself, plagiarize someone. Like, if you're just giving it a go, it doesn't really matter if you've accidentally written the same melody as Hey Jude by the Beatles. Unless you're going to record it and release it as a commercial release, they're not going to come after you. If you're just doing it at home as an exercise to try and get better at songwriting, then it's just good. So we want to imitate before we can innovate, and we're going to get rid of that idea that we're aiming for originality, because that's just a bit scary. Okie doke. Now, let's get into the next one. So the second tip, and I'm going to go write these out because this is fun, typing as we go. The second tip is harmony. Okay? So the second tip is that we want to know about harmony. And when I say harmony, I've talked about this before. We're not talking about harmony as in a melody that, I don't have my piano, I turned it off. But see, my hair's pink today. See? Pink hair. Little side note. It's already faded so much and I only did it on Monday. But anyway, I've got pink hair. So now you know. So the second tip is harmony. Give me a shout out if you guys have ever dyed your hair a crazy color before. Because I'm thinking of doing more. I love it. I can't believe I've had it this long. Anyway, harmony. Not talking about when you sing a melody and you go da 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 and then you sing a harmony and you're like da da da. That's good to have when we're songwriting. But the sort of the essence of songwriting is not necessarily about writing all the backing vocals and all that sort of thing. When we first write a song, we want the melody and the harmony in terms of the music that supports that melody, right? And how can we find harmony that supports the melody if we don't know what sort of harmony supports what sort of melody? You're starting to follow me here? Starting to get where I'm going. So if we write a melody first, which is not always how we do things, but you might choose to do that. You have a tune in your head, you want to write a song about it. Then you want to put some chords underneath, obviously, to have something to play on the piano. Whether you're going to sing or whether you're going to play the melody in the right hand and the chords in the left hand, whichever route you're going on. We need to know a little bit about chords so that we can dress up in the song, so the song can have some substance, and also to support that melody so that the melody sounds, so that it takes us places, so that in the chorus it soars, and in the verse it's sort of telling us a story, and in the bridge it's showing us a different perspective. You know, all those things about the melody or the lyrics are supported by the chords. Okay, so we need to know our harmony. That's the second tip. Right. Kristen says, awesome. Hi, Kristen. She says, awesome here. She had burgundy red in her hair. Awesome. Love it. So cool. Thank you, Kristen. And Prebula, who's my good friend, said that she went and sprinkled that magic on her timeline. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, guys. If anyone else is watching here, put something in the comments and I'll be able to pull it up on the screen, which is always fun. Okay, so third tip was, so that's harmony. Man, this is live. This is gritty. This is real. Okay, typing in the headings as I go. The third tip is framework. Okay, you didn't think I was going to reference some house building when I'm talking about songwriting, but I guess it is kind of like constructing a house. You know, we need the foundations and we need the framework, right? So that we can put the cladding on. I know nothing about building houses. Anyway, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I should never have to build a house, hopefully, if everything goes right. Myself. So the third tip is framework. So what am I talking about? Houses, songwriting. We want a framework for our song, right? So we have a framework for the song overall in terms of a structure. We have a framework for the different sections, and that framework is made up of chords. So what's another word for the framework is chord progressions. I couldn't even say it right. Chord progressions, right? So our framework essentially is our chord progressions. That's how we use the chords in order to tell a story, to take the song somewhere with a bit of momentum in order to push us forward through each section of the song. Okay, so how are we going to learn about chord progressions? We learn about chords in the previous month coaching session, and this month's coaching session is chord progressions, right? We're going to be learning all the common chord progressions, major ones set in a major key, and also ones that are set in a minor key. We're also going to learn how to make your own chord progressions. Now, you might be saying to me, of course I know how to get a bunch of chords and set them together, but what we're talking about is how to take a key that your song is in and make a chord progression that might be very different to the common ones that we're going to learn. Okay, so that's the icing on the cake. Well, why did I do this? It's the icing on the cake for this month's coaching session. Wow, that got really like intimidating there for a second. Cool. So thank you, everyone who's showed up today. I don't know why I'm saying thank you. I just sometimes lose my train of thought. Let's get back to it. Framework is chord progressions. Chord progressions is what we're learning this month's coaching session. So if you want a book, all you have to do is go to Piano Picnic. Let's do this. pianopicnic.com/coaching. And that's where you can book your spot at the coaching session this month. It's in like a few weeks' time, so you got a bit of time. But if chord progressions and having the framework to write your own songs is something that you do not have as a skill right now, just come along, and then you'll have all the tools you need, as well as last month's coaching session, to be able to write some killer songs. Okay, so that's the first 3 tips. Let's get on to the 4th tip, which is... I love the drum roll while I'm typing. Oh, wait. Okay. Now, this goes almost completely against everything I normally say about playing the piano creatively, right? Because we tend to think about creativity as being so free and open and you can do anything and it's lovely and fun, which is what I normally say. But when we are doing something from scratch, like writing a song, it helps to set ourselves limits, because if the world is unlimited and you can do literally anything, it's a bit intimidating, right? It's like when you try and draw a picture or write a story and you have a blank piece of paper in front of you and you're just like, like, it's hard when you're just staring at it and everything's flooding your brain, like everything that I want this song to be, everything I want it to express, and how am I gonna, and you're thinking too much about what the whole song is gonna be, because you're like, I'm not gonna start the song until I know exactly what I'm doing, and this piece of paper is blank, and I don't want to make a mistake and just ruin it from the beginning. There's so much pressure on ourselves when you're staring at a blank piece of paper, and there's all the possibility in the world. So what we want to do is set limits, and here are the things that you can set limits on. You can pick a genre and try and write a song in a particular genre, because that will give you limits, right? If you're writing a country song, then there are certain things that you would do to make it a song of that genre rather than a jazz song, right? So that's already cutting off a whole lot of possibilities, and believe it or not, having that restriction actually makes you a bit more relaxed about the whole thing. So we're picking a genre. You could pick a topic for the song, so you're not thinking, oh shivers, what am I going to write a song about? Pick a topic or an idea. The other thing we can limit is having a particular song structure that we're going to stick to. So you might choose a pop song structure where it's like a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro, or something like that. Or you might choose more of a classical song structure where you might have a binary form or a ternary form or a sonata or whatever. So that's one way of limiting our songwriting. And one last thing that we can do to limit it is obviously having a key. If you choose the key from the outset, the key signature that you're going to write the song in, then you've got 2 things. You've got a limit on the sort of things that you're going to be using, the sort of keys you're going to be using in that, and notes you're going to be using in that song. And also you've got a framework, because as soon as you have a key, then you know which chord's going to be the 1 chord, which chord's going to be the 4 and 5 chord. It starts to take shape. So the sooner we can set those limits, the easier things are going to be. Believe me. I have sat at a blank page. Wait. It's my songbook at the moment. It always changes. At the moment it's a particularly ugly brown song. It's all my songs, right? This is stuff that I've been writing lately, which is nice because I wasn't writing songs for a long time. But if I open this up and just sat there at my piano with a pen, you know what would happen? Nada. nothing would happen, because I'm just, we're all the same. We look at a blank piece of paper, or we look at the piano and go, I've forgotten everything I know. Happens to everyone. So that's why we want to have a framework and also set limits on on our creativity. Okay, the fourth tip. Wait, that was the fourth tip. You guys, we're having so much fun, I forgot. The fifth tip is, I like this one because I like to just keep you guessing every now and then. So this is the funny one. Be a kindergarten teacher, right? How many of you guys remember your kindergarten teacher? Check it in the comments if you remember them, because I remember mine so clearly. I think I only had... No, wait. I don't remember my kindergarten teacher. I remember my entry-level school teacher. In fact, I probably had my hair like in a bow, kind of like ponytail like this when I was that age. Anyway, I must be regressing. So, tip 5 is be a kindergarten teacher. What the heck are you talking about, Ruth? I mean that every idea is amazing. And every single thing you do is so exciting. And we are so curious about every single thing. Right? That's what I mean by being a kindergarten teacher. Because, kindergarten teachers, they're very... well, I don't want to generalize, but usually the ones that I remember, and if we think about like kids' TV show presenters, it's the same thing, where they're always like, should we go explore a D minor chord? What do you think is going to happen? Okay, that sort of thing. We're going to do that to ourselves. And the reason we do that is because when you're writing the song, it's so easy to get judgmental and think, oh no, that's stupid, that's not going to work, oh no, that's lame. But we want to make sure, oh, hi Kane, my husband just walked in. We want to make sure that we are being excited about the direction that we're going in, that we give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. If something doesn't sound like the coolest thing in the world right now, maybe it just needs a few little tweaks, but maybe we don't stop ourselves at every second going, oh, that's so lame, oh, I want to do something cool, that's not cool enough, or that's not original enough. Maybe we just stop and take a breath and just go, this is pretty exciting. It's probably going to sound cooler in a second. Let's just keep going and don't stop that flow, because that's what we want, is the creative flow, so that we can just keep going forward and writing that song and just get it to some point where you can look at it and go, okay, that's a song. And then we can go back and start tweaking things to make them cool. I will say that when I normally write songs, I can be super judgmental to myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And to be honest, the more songs I write, the more pressure I put on myself. Because I'm like, I've written so many songs, I've recorded all of these albums, and, I'm at this level and I'm a teacher, so there I should be able to write an awesome song in 10 minutes and it be a hit. I don't know why I say that to myself, but we can be really cruel. And what I'm talking about, this fifth tip, is just about suspending that doubt and that cruelty that we seem to lay upon ourselves, and just be like that kindergarten teacher. Be like, what are we going to do now? Where do you think we should go from here? Should we try something crazy, like a diminished chord? Okay, so give that a go. Those are my 5 tips. Now, because you guys have been so cool, I actually have, Amy says, Pueblo West says, I totally remember all of my teachers. It's funny, isn't it? Because you're so young, and it's weird to me that we remember them all, but I guess we won't, because it's a very important part of our lives. So, I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip. Oh my gosh. And this one is, aside from all the 5 tips, so I guess it's 6 tips. The bonus tip is to practice active listening. Yeah? So we want to practice active listening when we are listening to songs that we like, or even songs that we don't like. This is the thing with active listening, is that the activeness means that we are being critical. And as soon as you start to write a song, you will probably find this happening very naturally as you start to notice things in other songs. If you struggled with what song structure you're going to have in deciding that for your song, when you listen to the radio or Spotify or YouTube or wherever we listen to music these days, you are probably going to have an ear out for that song structure and be like, that's interesting that they did that. They put that extra little, they had 2 bridges. That's weird. You start to recognize things. So that's the sixth tip, is to actively listen to the music you listen to, even the music that you don't listen to if you're in a shop or the supermarket or the petrol station. And there's a song that you wouldn't normally listen to. Just try and focus, as long as you're not, spilling gas everywhere. Just put an ear out and focus a little bit on it and see if you can notice some things about it that could influence your songwriting. Maybe it would be something that you would want to try in your next song. Maybe it's an instrument you think is cool, or a particular synth, or maybe it's a chord that sounded really crazy that you want to investigate, or maybe it was something to do with the song structure, or a repeated line, or the way the melody jumped up and then jumped back down again. All these little things we can notice about the music we hear. And if you're like me, I make notes on my phone. So I have keep notes on my phone, and I quite often will write in little bits of a lyric, or the way that a certain the backing vocals were like men with really low voices, even though the lead voice was a female, or all these things about the lyrics, things about the song structure, all those things I was talking about. I make notes on my phone so that when I go to songwriting, I already have a little bit of a list of things that I'm thinking about already, and those can be really great jump off points for starting a new song. So that's it. That's my 6 tips